Now, risk is an interesting concept. When you sort of look at what risk is, it's this equation up here. There are three components. There's the consequential cost of loss when something goes bad. When the machine breaks down, there will be money lost. The frequency of opportunity for failure is another factor in risk, because if opportunity is very, very low, then the odds of something happening fall away. It's unlikely to occur. Yesterday, our lubrication management, we saw when the oil is contaminated heavily with wear particles, many failures. When I clean that wear particles out and get down to very few in a drop of oil, that failure rate comes right down to fractions of the previous failure rate. So the opportunity is an important thing to understand in risk. If I can reduce opportunity, then I will reduce the risk. The other component is chance. The fact that opportunity is there is one thing. The fact that I got 150,000 wear particles in my drop of oil is a chance, it's something that is an opportunity for them to go wrong. The chance the particle will get between the teeth of the gears, now that's something totally different. So I could have wear particles, but they may not actually get between the gear teeth or between the bearings. So though there's contamination in the oil, it doesn't mean it will naturally lead to a bearing failure. The opportunity's always there. The fact the particle will not yet get into the bearing, that's a chance issue. So I can have dirty oil and have the machine never fail because the chance never occurs. But the point is, with lots of dirty oil, the opportunity is always there for it to go wrong. And of course, with enough time and enough situational circumstances, the risk eventually comes our way. So we have the three components of risk. We typically consider the chance and the consequence. Within that chance also includes the opportunity aspect of it. Now, risk is what they call is scale-free. Scale-free means one situation can lead to a very small problem, and the same situation can lead to massive disaster. For example, if I had an electric motor and the internal windings have a bus bar problem, or have a bar problem, a winding problem, now that problem can either just lead to that electric motor failing and it breaks, the equipment stops, or if I'm particularly unlucky, that same problem can lead to a fire in the electric motor that now burns down the whole building, and all from the very same initial situation. So that's what scale-free means. That same risk can lead to negligible problems, or it can lead to a total disaster. And no one knows what's going to happen because it depends on the circumstances of that event. It's also driven by a few key factors. We don't have to necessarily solve all the world's problems to stop a risk scenario. We've got to find out what are the key factors that lead to the risk and control those key factors. And so maybe out of all the things that can go wrong, the most likely ones are two or three possibilities. So we want to find those two or three possibilities. We also know that risk indicates the presence of the interaction of uncoordinated agents. When things are uncoordinated and many random situations are occurring all the time, all around you, these random events begin to line up from time to time into hazards and into consequences of these situations. So risk reflects the uncertainty, the randomness of what's going on around us all the time. Because sometimes those Swiss cheese holes, they line up and they line up when they want to, whenever the situation arises. And suddenly it reflects that his decision 10 years ago, my decision yesterday, and the supervisor's decision this morning, suddenly the three decisions over that time period line up in a bad way. And now those choices lead to a failure. And that's the bit that we're trying to prevent. Interestingly, risk events are more likely than by pure chance. We have more trouble from risk situations than we do from pure chance situations. And I think the reason is because opportunity is always there, whereas chance just happens by itself. I roll the dice and what number comes up is pure chance. But when I have a working situation in a company, that chance is randomly happening because it's uncoordinated agents working around all the time. And because opportunity is continually there, risk ends up having more disasters than a chance situation would lead to. So yeah, risk is an interesting factor because if we don't understand how that arises, how opportunity and chance interact, we never actually see why things are occurring and how to minimise that opportunity and that likelihood over time.